My wife actually began cooking with her mother's recipes at age 12. Her mother also had a cafe in Louisiana. So she had been in the kitchen since she was 12, and then we got married, and so it continued. And while she was working here, she was always asking me to please open up her restaurant. And but of course, a cafe in Louisiana is a lot different than a restaurant in California. She's actually the star of the show, and so she's the one who has the cooking, in her spirit, and I'm just more of a grandfather who has a commitment to leave an inheritance and a heritage to his children's children. We celebrated Mardi Gras, we celebrated life, we celebrated family, traditional folk, and we would have like a traditional off-the-hook spread at Mother's Day. We have the Southern style cooking in New Orleans, and not just New Orleans, but most of the South in itself. And we invited people to come in to have an experience of being at home. In other words, you were being almost like family. So when people came into Magnolia's, we were expecting them to come in and with an expectation of good service, a lot of Southern hospitality, and a focus of family, food, and fun. We're actually a three-generation family operation. My wife and I and my son, and he has 4 children, and 2 of them have worked in the restaurant. And then the youngest, my 5-year-old, actually thought she owned the place. She just was in charge of everything, and she just loved it. And that's what's really heartbreaking is she actually complains now because she doesn't get to go to her restaurant. So I'm looking to her. She was in tears yesterday because she kept asking her mother, when do we get to go to the restaurant? And at 5 years old, it hasn't really sunk in yet that it's a place never to be anymore. We've been here since 1968, and we've lived at South 45th Street, which is right over here. We lived at Naranja Street, was like right on the other side of the plaza, and we lived on 69th Street. So we've lived right in this area here. The challenge was how to change the overall profit structure in the community. There was we've all noticed, all the research, that there's about $60 million worth of dollars, revenue leaving this community, going to other parts of San Diego. And so we spent about 2 years developing concepts, a focus. There was collaboration between the Jacobs Foundation, which was a philanthropy of they came in with about $94 million, promised to pledge their assets and support, give us training, all of the things to bring the community leaders together. And we talked about, the possibility of getting a movie theater here, the need for a movie theater, what it does, what retail does for the community. So all of those things we knew full well before we went in. So we had talked about all of the things we were going to need to do to redevelop the community so that $60 million would have things to do in the community. Because see, right now I have very good friends of mine who love my food. I bring it to them out of the area. But when they come here, it's a challenge because they got to leave an area where they could get everything they want done just to come hang out with me and eat. And so it doesn't work. And that was one of the problems. We complained about that. All of the restaurants complained that the development of the center was essential to our businesses, and it never happened. Well, I talked to Reverend Andre Henderson, who's a business owner, and I told him, I said, I didn't think that the thing would work. And he said that I should express my concerns to Joe Jacobs, who was the head of the foundation. And I spoke to him personally, and he told us, he gave us the reassurance that we were not going to end up worse off than we were, and that we were the ones really making the investments. He said that they were just putting in the money. We were the one who was going to put in the stuff that was going to make the difference. And so after hearing him say that, I actually went home, convinced my family. My wife was reluctant, my son was reluctant, but we told them several times, without you here participating, to being not only the money guy, but actually the one who was creating the business concerns to the community, that your role was essential in order for the success of Magnolia's, and they assured us that they were going to do it. People want to go where they could get good service, where they could get goods and service, where they could feel a part of what they call normal. And if you have an area where crime is in abundance, or there's a whole bunch of things that's perception. But I need to tell you right now, this is a great area. We've been here for almost 6 years. We love it. We live in the area, and we hired from within the area. We tried to develop and help as many people as we could. So we tried to do our part, and we trust that every sit-down restaurant in here will hire, train, teach, and exactly give a business focus, and so that people understand that the restaurant industry, which I'm a part of, is the second leading employer in San Diego. So we have a great role, and the more sit-down restaurants you have, the more you're doing to create jobs.